JG Sports fans, what is up? Today we are going to be doing a video going over the NBA standings, doing a little bit of a check-in. We're gonna start doing weekly check-ins on the NBA standings every week, just to kind of get an idea of the updates and what we need to see, what we're looking into as the NBA goes towards the play-in tournament and the postseason starting next month in April. Yeah, all right. So please subscribe if you enjoy these videos, and let's jump into it. All right, so as I said, we're doing an NBA conference check-in, guys. Our first time we're doing this. This will be a series we'll do weekly. As a lot of crazy things have happened this week compared to the conference standings I've looked at last week. As you guys know, I follow mainly the NFL and the NBA. We're following the NCAA because the March Madness starts this week. We'll be doing a bracket pretty soon. Probably tomorrow, which is Monday. All right, so we got a lot to go over. So today is Sunday, March 16th, and as you can see here, above my cursor, the Cavaliers are on a 16-game win streak. Orlando has upset the Cavs. This is a 1 o'clock p.m. Eastern game on ESPN. The Cavs' 16-game win streak has been snapped. They're now 56-11, 7.5 games ahead of Boston. You can see Philadelphia beat Dallas. Dallas is really struggling. We'll talk about them in a minute. We got a couple games going on. Atlanta and Brooklyn doesn't really matter. Toronto and Portland doesn't really matter either. The Lakers knock off the Suns, pushing the Suns back in the play-in tournament. And then a couple more. Utah, Minnesota. Minnesota, that's an important game to win. Clippers need to win. And then the Thunder and the Bucks is kind of just proceeding. Those teams likely are going to be in the postseason. All right, let's start with the East. Maybe the less exciting conference to look at, but as you can see, Cavs 7.5 games ahead of Boston. Both these teams have clinched into the playoffs. What a year for Cleveland. They're gonna have the coach of the year probably. Really long win streak as well. Got great players. I do slightly worry about their playoff experience coming in, but they are much more likely. Probably got close to a walk in the park to get to the second round here in the playoffs. And then the Celtics, same thing, play-in tournament in the East this week. They'll probably have a walk in the park to get to the second round. Both those teams will. The Knicks, they lost to my Warriors last night. They are 5-5 in the last 10. Jalen Brunson's going to be gone for the remainder of the regular season. They should be good to get to the postseason. It's just you hope that they don't fall all the way down to 6 since it isn't really too far away. Right, 6 games behind New York at the 6, but I think New York's big threat is Milwaukee getting the 3 or Indy getting the 3. But I think they're going to kind of sit at the 6. I talked about the East is less exciting. Only the top 6 teams have a winning record. The East is atrocious. Then you got the Hawks here, 32-35. They'll probably get in the postseason. Same with the Magic. These are both mediocre to bad teams. Miami, the Heat have been looking really, really bad lately after trading away Jimmy Butler. Andrew Wiggins, who's been banged up. Terry Rozier's been terrible. Heat are probably done. I can see him going as far as maybe winning a play-in game and then getting knocked out, missing the postseason. The Bulls, I don't see him. I just see him getting in the play-in and getting blown out. I mean, they are terrible. They had a game about a month ago where they were down by 42 points at home at halftime against the Pistons. They have problems with effort on some ends of the floor. And they've lost Zach LaVine. They have no talent. They're just a really rough team. And then Toronto, we knew they weren't going to be good. Philadelphia's had a very disappointing season. Joel Embiid's been banged up again. Ugh, feel bad for Joel Embiid. I'm wondering if he's ever going to play basketball again in the NBA. The Nets are bad. The Hornets are bad. The Wizards are terrible, but the Nuggets got upset by Washington. Jordan Poole had one of his flashy moments hitting a 3 to beat the Nuggets and stun their crowd at home last night. That was pretty wild to see. All right, now let's get on to the good stuff. The Western Conference. A lot has changed in the last week. One thing that has not changed in the last week is the Thunder have been standing tall holding the 1 seed. For me, they're a top 3 finals contender and championship contender this year. They are really, really good. They have excellent players, and their defense is suffocating to play against. They allow 107 points per game to their opponents, which is really good. They suffocate opponents. They force turnovers. Let's see. And they have the best differential in the league with plus 12.4. This team's going to be scary for anybody in the playoffs. I know there would be some that worry about playoff experience, but I think last year was just enough. I could probably say the same about the Cavs, too. I think the Cavs and Thunder are great contenders. I think they've shored up their playoff experience problems. And a team that really does have issues with playoff experience, but has 6 straight wins. Rockets were sitting at 5th last week and have shot up to 2nd due to lazy defensive efforts by the Denver Nuggets. Very mediocre play by the Grizzlies due to them being a young team playing decent teams with a mediocre coach costing them some close games. A LeBron and Luka Lakers team that's banged up. I think they'll be good come postseason. It's just for them. They need to make sure they stay ahead of the play-in since it is really close. Then the Golden State Warriors. The Warriors have played really well. They're 14-2 since acquiring Jimmy Butler, 14-1 with him on the court. The only game he didn't play was at the Philadelphia 76ers, and the Warriors ended up losing that game. But when I look at this team, they're the scariest in the West right now. Obviously, you can see right here, only 3.5 games behind all these teams. This team could get to 4, I think. Real chance to get ahead of Memphis and Lakers. I don't know about getting ahead of Denver. I do think it's possible due to the Nuggets' major defensive struggles. But I think the Rockets could stand alone and hold the 2 as long as they continue to play consistent. The Timberwolves are another hot team right here. You can see the Warriors and Timberwolves, 7-game win streaks. They're pushing their way in. I think the Nuggets don't want Minnesota to get to 6 because if the Nuggets end up being the 3, they don't want to see the Timberwolves with their defensive struggles. The Timberwolves, Nuggets are complete opposite defensively. The Wolves give up 109 a game. The Nuggets give up 116 a game. Big difference. Minnesota Timberwolves, they give up 8 points less than the Nuggets. That would be a nightmare for the Denver Nuggets to deal with. But the Warriors are the big threat to get, trying to push for a hosting a home playoff series, at least in the first round and maybe a little further than that. The Clippers at 8, I think they're kind of just going to hold their stance and try to get into the play-in. Sacramento and Dallas, you can see, 4-game losing streak for the Kings, 3-game losing streak for Dallas. Dallas looks atrocious. I think for Phoenix, there's still a chance for the Suns to get in. I don't think it really matters, though. The 9 and 10 feel like teams that are just really on the trend down. San Antonio, Portland, New Orleans, and Utah, we already know they're eliminated. But for San Antonio and Portland, I think it's too little too late. San Antonio, Victor Wembanyama, and De'Aaron Fox are gone for the year. Portland's a young team. I think they have a good future ahead of them, but this is just not their year to get into the postseason. I like the Clippers getting into the postseason. I think the Lakers could potentially fall into the play-in. Minnesota can sneak in, and the Warriors can remain ahead of the play-in and possibly get to 4. But we'll check in next week and see what happens. Let's look at for the Denver Nuggets. Let's talk about these guys. 5-5 in the last 10. They have really, really been bad defensively over the last week. Let's look at this team. We need to check in on the Nuggets. They have the second best offense in the league. Their schedule ahead, really, really tough. They have to deal with my Warriors come Monday. That's how the Warriors have been playing. In the top 10 in defensive rating since acquiring Jimmy Butler, playing really well offensively. This is going to be hard for the Nuggets to win, especially after this game. They laid an egg against Washington. Jokic put up 40 points last night. It didn't matter, though. Double-double at minimum. But you can see this team over the last stretch. Let's talk about really starting with Phoenix last week on Friday, the 7th. All right. They allowed 141 points here. Then they allowed 127. Then they allowed 127, but they had a great offensive night being OKC. Here they allow 115, play a really good Minnesota defense, get blown out. Allow 126 points, but their offense gets it done against a shorthanded Lakers team. This was definitely a concern to see them have this close of a game. And then it's just unacceptable to lose to the last seed in the East, the Washington Wizards, who are atrocious and just really lazy defense. But the Nuggets, they got a tough schedule ahead. The Warriors is going to be tough for them. The Lakers, well, boy, I mean, could be tough. At Portland's very winnable. Houston, with how the Rockets have been playing, it's going to be really tough. The Bulls, I think the Nuggets should win, but you never know. Milwaukee, we know is going to be tough for them. Utah should be a business game. And then Tuesday of April 1st, they got to play Timberwolves at home, and we know that's going to be tough. They struggle against Minnesota at home. The Nuggets have a really tough schedule, and I wouldn't be surprised if they fall down to the 4 or 5 end the year. So, teams that you're going to want to watch out on when you look at these standings, you're going to want to look out for the Nuggets possibly trending down, the Warriors trending up, trying to get a home playoff series, hosting a playoff series. The Lakers trying to stay ahead of the play-in. The Timberwolves trying to get outside of the play-in. And then the Rockets trying to hold their ground on a top 2 seed in the West, and the Thunder trying to continue to win and clinch the number 1 seed in the Western Conference. All right, everybody. Thank y'all for watching the first video of the NBA standings check-in. It's going to be an interesting week of basketball. I think things are going to sure up in a hurry, but we're not at the point where stuff is going to sure up in a hurry yet. So be ready to expect the unexpected for the rest of the season. A lot of crazy things are happening. The Warriors and Timberwolves trending up as well as the Houston Rockets. Nuggets slightly trending down, so is the Grizzlies. Same with the Lakers. Suns trending up, Dallas and Sacramento trending down at the moment. All right, thank y'all for watching, JG Sports fans. I will see you guys in the next one for our March Madness official bracket reveal. And I'll go over who I'm picking to win this whole thing. I'll do my bracket with you guys in the next video. For now, see y'all